afternoon, I'm Faye Barker. The Chancellor has denied misleading the public, insisting she didn't lie about the state of the country's finances before delivering last Wednesday's budget. Rachel Reeves has been facing claims she painted an overly gloomy picture of the economy in order to justify tax hikes. Well, our political reporter, Jasmine Cameron-Chaleshi, is here. So, Jasmine, it's been a pretty tricky day so far, hasn't it, for the Chancellor?
That's right, and this row has been brewing since Friday when it emerged that the OBR told the government on the 17th of September that the deficit by the end of the Parliament would be around £2.5 billion. This was better than expected. And then by the 31st of October, they actually said there would be a surplus of around 4.2 billion. Now, Rachel Reeves' critics are saying that she wanted to paint an overly negative picture of the economy to justify tax rises. In particular, they point to that November the 4th press conference where it really fueled speculation she was going to increase income taxes. Now, this morning, the Chancellor's vigorously denied misleading the public. She said the OBR projections didn't take into account policy decisions, for example, the U-turn on winter fuel payments.
A 4.2 billion headroom would have been the lowest headroom against the fiscal rules that any Chancellor had ever delivered. So it is clear with those numbers, and those numbers moved around a lot, that we did need to build that headroom. And also, of course, the OBR was saying that inflation was likely to come in higher. And as a result, it was so important that we had that cost of living offer in the budget.
Now, the Tories, who have accused the Chancellor of raising taxes to pay for welfare, say Rachel Reeves lied and should be sacked.
She was raising taxes to pay for welfare. The only thing that was unfunded was the welfare payments which she has made, and she's doing it on the backs of a lot of people out there who are working very hard and getting poorer. And because of that, I believe she should resign. Now, the Chancellor says she's proud of this budget, says she's confident in her position, but all of this has really intensified pressure on the government, and I think we can expect to see the PM to be mounting a vigorous defence of both his Chancellor and this budget in the coming days.
OK, Jasmine, thank you. Now, children are among the fatalities in a mass shooting at a child's birthday party in California. Police in Stockton say 4 people were killed and 10 wounded in what may have been a targeted attack. A manhunt is now underway. Rescuers in Indonesia are continuing efforts to reach areas affected by floods and landslides that have killed 442 people. Flash floods on the island of Sumatra have left entire neighbourhoods submerged, with thousands of people unable to return to their homes. The death toll is expected to rise as more bodies are recovered. In Ukraine, at least 1 person has died and 11 have been injured as Russia once again targeted Kyiv overnight. Ukraine had earlier confirmed it had attacked 2 Russian oil tankers in the Black Sea. Peace efforts are continuing, with Ukrainian officials currently in Florida. A US delegation is then expected to travel to Moscow in the coming days for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Caroline Lewis reports.
Through the night, once again, Ukrainian firefighters battled to bring fires under control in the aftermath of Russian strikes. Civilians have become the targets of war. Last night, at least 1 person is known to have died. At this building just outside Kyiv, helped by rescuers, an elderly resident emerges from the smoke. Yesterday, Ukraine's security services said they targeted 2 Russian tankers in the Black Sea as Kyiv tries to disrupt Russia's oil revenues, a critical commodity that funds its war. In his nightly address, President Volodymyr Zelensky said a Ukrainian delegation had already arrived in the US to work on a renewed push to end the war. It's believed Donald Trump's overseas envoy will then hold talks in Moscow next week. But after the events of the last 48 hours, Putin shows little signs he's prioritising peace. Caroline Lewis, ITV News.
Back here, major reforms to the criminal justice system are expected to be confirmed in the coming days. It's understood jury trials could be restricted to rape, murder, manslaughter and public interest cases, while other lower offences will be heard by a judge. Justice Secretary David Lammy says there is a courts emergency with thousands of cases waiting to go to trial. Now, the largest naval deployment this century is returning home today, with 2 warships arriving back in Portsmouth. Crowds of families and friends of military personnel have gathered alongside senior Royal Navy officials. Well, Jake Robson is in Portsmouth and sent this a few moments ago.
The moment that the families gathered here have all been waiting for, as the Carrier Strike Group's 2025's 8-month mission is coming to an end. Led by UK flagship HMS Prince of Wales, that will be appearing behind me, a 280-metre-long aircraft carrier in old money. That's the length of nearly 3 football pitches, 1,600 crew it can hold on board if necessary. And I'll give you an idea of how big it is, because we're told it's going to be the best part at 45 minutes to an hour to dock. Mightily impressive. The MOD have said that its aim was collectively to resolve and maintain security and freedom from the Atlantic to the Pacific. It's taken in parts of the Mediterranean, Middle East and Southeast Asia as well. There were jubilant scenes also, I'm told, this morning when the Type 45 destroyer HMS Dauntless arrived, because having been away since April, all are now going to be back in time for Christmas.
Jake Robson in Portsmouth. Finally, West Ham legend Billy Bonds has died, aged 79. Bonds made a record 799 appearances during 21 years for the Hammers and is the only player to captain them to 2 FA Cup victories. He also managed the club from 1990 to 94. That is it. We're back at 6:30. Until then, bye-bye.